Hello everyone, you're welcome to solve this nice month Olympiad problem, which is the square root of 24 divided by square root of 30 plus square root of 6 raised to power 24. So now, the first thing here to do, into the bracket here, we can express square root of 24 as square root of 6 multiplied by 4. Then divided by square root of 30 can be expressed as square root of 5 multiplied by 6. Then plus square root of 6, everything raised to power 24. The next step here, square root of 6 times 4, this is in the form of square root of a times b, which we can express as the individual square root of a times the square root of b. So applying this property, then here we'll have square root of 6 times square root of 4 divided by square root of 5 times square root of 6, then plus square root of 6, all this raised to power 24. The next step here, we have that square root of 6 in the numerator multiplied by square root of 4. And then in the denominator here, square root of 6 is common. We can factor out square root of 6. So that here we'll have into the bracket square root of 5 plus 1. But all this raised to power 24. The next step here, square root of 6 and square root of 6 simplifies. So that now here, we'll have square root of 4. Now this is the same thing as square root of 4 divided by square root of 5 plus 1. Everything raised to power 24. The next step from here, we'll have square root of 4. This is the same thing as 2 divided by square root of 5 plus 1. Everything raised to power 24. Now the next step here, we have that we can express 24 as 3 times 8. So therefore, we'll have 2 divided by square root of 5 plus 1. Everything raised to power 3 times 8. Now the next step here, we have 2 divided by square root of 5 plus 1. So from here, we can rationalize the denominator. So let's rationalize the denominator by introducing a conjugate, okay? Which is square root of 5, subtract 1, that is on the denominator. And you do the same in the numerator by introducing the conjugate, which is square root of 5, subtract 1. All this raised to power 3 times 8. So the next step here, we'll have 2 multiplied by square root of 5, subtract 1, then divided by. Now we have square root of 5 plus 1 multiplied by square root of 5 subtract 1. This is in the form of a plus b multiplied by a minus b, which is essentially a squared minus b squared. So applying this property, then here it means we have square root of 5 squared subtract 1 squared, all this raised to power 3 times 8. So if you're following this country, hit that subscription button and like this video. So let's proceed from here. Now here we have 2 multiplied by square root of 5 minus 1 divided by square root of 5 squared subtract 1 squared, and this is equal to 2 square root of 5 subtract 1 divided by square root of 5 squared. We eliminate the square root side, so this is the same thing as 5 minus 1. All this raised to power 3 times 8. And this is equal to 2 square root of 5 subtract 1 divided by 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. All this raised to power 3 times 8. Now, but given that a raised to power n times m, this can be expressed as 8 power n raised to power m. So as applying this exponent property, then here we'll have 2 multiplied by square root of 5, subtract 1, divided by, now here we simplify, actually we can simplify here by 2 1 by 2 2. So here we'll have 2, all this raised to power, this is the same thing as 3 raised to power 8. So let me write this as square root of 5 subtract 1 divided by 2, all this raised to power 3, and then everything raised to power 8. Now square root of 5 minus 1 raised, this is actually divided by 2. This is actually in the form of a over b raised to power n, which you can express as a to power n divided by b to power n. So applying this exponent property, then here we'll have square root of 5 subtract 1 raised to power 3 divided by 2 to power 3, then everything here raised to power 8. So this implies here that square root of 5 minus 1 raised to power 3, this is in the form of a minus b raised to power 3, and this is the same thing as a to power 3 subtract b to power 3 subtract 3 times a times b into the bracket here, a minus b. So let's apply this property so that now we'll have here square root of 5. This is now in the numerator here, square root of 5 cubed subtract, this is the same thing as 1 cubed, then subtract 3 multiplied by, we have square root of 5 times 1. Then now here we'll have a minus b, that is square root of 5 subtract 1, we close the bracket, and then divided by 2 to power 3, which is 8, everything raised to power 8. Now here we have that the square root of 5 to power 3, this is the same thing as square root of 5 squared times square root of 5. And this is the same thing as 5 square root of 5. So substituting this, we'll have, this is the same thing as square root of, that is 5 square root of 5, subtract 1 cube, this is 1, then subtract, here we have 3 square root of 5 multiplied by, now here we have square root of 5 minus 1, close the bracket, and then divided by 8, everything here raised to power 8. So let's proceed from here. Now here we have 5 times square root of 5 minus 1, subtract 3 square root of 5 times square root of 5 minus 1 divided by 8. So this is the same thing as 5 square root of 5, subtract 1, subtract, now 3 square root of 5 times square root of 5 here. This is the same thing as 3 multiplied by square root of 5 squared. Then now minus 3 square root of 5 times minus 1. This is plus 3 square root of 5. All this divided by 8. Then raised to power 8. So the next step here, we have 5 square root of 5 plus 3 square root of 5. This is 8 square root of 5. Then subtract 1. Subtract, now square root of 5 here, square root of 5 squared. This is the same thing as square root of 5 times square root of 5, which is the same thing as 5. Now let's substitute here. This is the same thing as 3 times 5. Then divided by 8, everything raised to power 8. So here we have 8 square root of 5, subtract 1 minus 3 times 5, this is 15, plus minus 1, this is minus 16, divided by 8, everything raised to power 8. And this is actually equal to, we can make 8 to be the subject of the formula. So here we have 8 square root of 5 minus 16 divided by 8 raised to power 8. So 8 is common here, so we can factor out 8 so that we'll have square root of 5 minus 2 divided by 8, everything here raised to power 8. And therefore, 8 and 8 simplifies, so we have square root of 5 subtract 2 raised to power 8. So the next step here, we just say let x be equal to square root of 5 subtract 2. Now, this implies that x to power 8 is equal to what? So let's solve this x to power 8. Remember, this is equation 1. Let's call this equation 1. Now, from this equation 1, we can express this as x plus 2. This is the same thing as, this is equal to square root of 5. We take minus 2 on the left-hand side, so that is x plus 2. This is equal to square root of 5. So we have to expand this equation up to x to power 8. So let's square both signs here. So that now here we'll have x squared plus, now here we'll have 4x plus 2 squared, which is equal to 4. This is equal to 5. Now, we have that this is x squared. This is equal to, let's take 4x plus 4 on the right-hand side. So this is minus 4x minus 4. So that now x squared is equal to 5 minus 4, which is 1 minus 4x. Let's call this equation 2. Now, x squared is 1 minus 4x. The next step here, let's still expand this. We have x to power 2. We need to have x to power 8. So let's continue to expand this equation. So this is equal to 1 minus 4x raised to power 2. So let's proceed. Now we have x squared is equal to 1 minus 4x. We call this equation 2. Now let's proceed here to expand this equation. X to power 2 raised to power 2. Then 1 minus 4x raised to power 2. So here we'll have x to power 4. This is equal to, now here we'll have 1 squared. This is 1. Subtract. Now we have 2 times 1 times 4x. Then plus. Now this is the same thing as 16x to power 2. So x to power 4, this is equal to 1 minus 8x plus 16x to power 2. But x to power 2 is what we have as equation 2. So let's substitute here. So x to power 4, this is the same thing as 1 minus 8x plus 16 multiplied by 1 minus 4x. So let's open the bracket here. We'll have x to power 4. This is equal to 1 minus 8x plus 16 times 1. This is 16. Minus 16 times minus 4x. This is minus 64x. So we'll have x to power 4. This is equal to 1 plus 16. This is 17 minus 8x minus 8x minus 64x. This is minus 72x. So this is x to power 4. Now, still you need to expand because we need to get x to power 8. We need to get x to power 8. So x to power 4 raised to power 2, this is equal to 17. Subtract 72x raised to power 2. So now this implies that we have x to power 8, because this is 4 times 2, which is equal to 8. This is equal to 17 squared. Subtract 2 times 17 times 72x. Then plus, this is the same thing as 72x squared. So we have that 17 squared. This is the same thing as 289. Then subtract 2 times 17, that is 34, times 72. So here we have 2448x. Then plus 72 squared. this is the same thing as 5184 x to the power 2. But x to the power 2, that is x to the power 2, this is the same thing as 1 minus 4x. That is from equation 2 here, from equation 2. So let's proceed. So here we have x to the power 8. This is equal to 289 subtract 2448x plus 5184 multiplied by 1 minus 4x. So here we have 289 subtract 2448x plus 5184 times 1, this is 5184, subtract 5184 times 4x, this is actually equal to 20,736x. So let's combine this. Let's put the like terms together. We have 289 plus 5184, 5184 plus 289. So this is 9 plus 4, which is 13, carry 1 here. This is 17, carry 1. This is 454. So here we have x to the power 8. This is equal to 54, 73. Now we have minus 2448x minus 20,736. This is minus 23,184x. 184x, but x is actually equal to, x is equal to square root of 5 subtract 2. Square root of 5 subtract 2. This is from equation 1. So let's substitute here. Now we have that x to the power 8 is equal to 5473 minus 23,184x, but x is equal to square root of 5 minus 2. So let's substitute this. So x to the power 8, this is equal to 5473 subtract 23,184 multiplied by x, which is the square root of 5 subtract 2. So this is the same thing as 5473 subtract 23,184 times square root of 5. This is 23,184 square root of 5. Then plus negative 23,000 multiplied by 184 times minus 2. This is plus 46,000. This is 46,368. And therefore, let's put the right terms together here. We have 46,368 plus we have 5473. So this is 8 plus 3, this is 11, carry 1 here. So this is 14, carry 1, this is 8, 4 plus 3, 7 plus 1, 8, then 6 plus 5, this is 11, 1, carry 1. So this is 51,841. So this implies that we have x to the power 8. X to the power 8 is equal to 51,841 subtract 23,184 square root of 5. If you recall here, we are saying that let x be equal to square root of 5 subtract 2. So that implies that square root of 5 subtract 2 raised to the power 8. This is the same thing as 51,841 subtract 23,184 square root of 5. And therefore, we have that the square root of 24 divided by square root of 30 plus square root of 6 raised to power 24. This is equal to, now this is the final solution here. Kindly follow the steps, like this video, and more importantly, subscribe. Please subscribe, like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye bye.